tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop, please. Somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The dark, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Hey, what's going on out there, YouTube family? This is Samuel Legger representing Team JVS. I'm back here again for another movie review. Now, the thumbnail, I will say, is a little misleading because you don't know which way I'm going to lie with this, but I'm going to try to break down what I thought about this movie, Underwater. So, this movie, from a synopsis standpoint, is a crew of aquatic researchers work to get to safety after an earthquake devastates their subterranean laboratory. Now, this is directed by William Eubank. There's a film that I actually did a review for maybe like 2 years ago or maybe last year that I just saw recently. And the name of the movie was called The Signal. Lawrence Fishburne, guy to play Robin, what's his name? Brenton Thwaites. And I thought that was amazing. Like, I thought that was such an interesting spectacle, very different, very out there. The visual immersion was amazing. The concept design from a science fiction standpoint was amazing. And so then I just realized that this was the director of that. So I was kind of like, oh wow, let's see where it's going to go. Because Kristen Stewart is starring in this one. T.J. Miller, Jessica Henwick. She played Game of Thrones, and of course in Jessica Jones. And she also played in, of course, Iron Fist as Christine Wing. And then you have Vincent Cassel. So, what did I think about this film? So I think that the visual immersion and the VFX were pretty stellar. Like, the visual effects were amazing. From the underwater seabed to the way that they kind of had these panned out shots of things that were kind of happening on the outside surface, so you wouldn't have to sit there and hear like a whole bunch of reinforced like exposition saying, oh, this is what happened with this. No, they actually really do show you, and I appreciated that. As well as when the action starts to pick up, when there's an explosion or something like that happens going on, there's a lot of times where there's like some slow motion moments. Now, towards certain parts towards the end, and then a certain moments towards the middle, I think the slow motion was kind of like over exaggerated. A lot of people go and they shame Zack Snyder for that, but I think that he's a perfectionist when it comes to the art of visual immersion, and I think he knows when to put that scope and then when not to. And I think this movie sometimes it did a little too much. But I think it was fine, given the circumstances of what was going on. And then when you think about like the cast, I think that the first half of this film was very fascinating to me because I was very intrigued by Kristen Stewart's character. The movie literally just starts just like the trailer, and she just kind of brushing her teeth, and all of a sudden things just start to happen around her, and you're trying to figure out, is this a psychological situation? Is there something wrong with her? Because one of the things they do reinforce with the introduction is what, you know, scientifically people would be prone to dealing with certain circumstances, mentally, emotionally, deformities, all these kind of things, from just being on exposure from that low under the sea, you know what I'm saying? And I think that they did a really good job of capturing that in the beginning to set the tone for when we see her character. That's why the first half of the film I thought was very intriguing. There's another actor in this one the actor's name is Mamadou Athie. I think that he was great. I think that he added this very innocence and naivete of what was really kind of happening, and his reliance on Kristen Stewart's character, because she's kind of more on the tech side, was very interesting. And if they went the whole entire movie with just them, and then maybe tagged on maybe a couple other people later on down the line, I'd been fine with it. I wish they kind of do that, but I think that they should have done a little bit more with that. I'll leave that at the cutting room floor for now. As far as the other actors are concerned, I think that Jessica Henwick was a very likable character in this one. There's a lot of different circumstances going on with her character, and of course Kristen Stewart's character Norrin. I don't think that anybody else had any names. It was just Norrin and the captain. I think that there was maybe one other character that had it, but they don't rely on that because it's really about survival the whole entire film. Because T.J. Miller is in this one, and I was kind of like, I saw him and I was like, what is he doing? Even when he actually shows up, like, I was kind of like, that kind of changes the tone of the film. And then really from that point on to the third act, the movie does become something totally different, more of a action, trying to thriller / him being embedded into for comic relief. not to say that he's not funny. He's hilarious. Every single joke he does, it lands pretty well. It's just, it changes the atmospheric tone of it. As well as with Vincent Cassel's character, who plays the role of the captain, I was kind of like, I know there's something more, but I couldn't get it. And this is where it lies the problem of the movie. Where I said in the beginning of the film, I really enjoyed the first half, it was because there was a mystery element to me figuring out what was happening, and things just pushed in my face, and I'm having to deal with it in the first person view, which again, from the VFX and the cinematography, that capitalized very well as the atmospheric noises that were happening, the sound design, as well as the soundtrack. I think that was all played in tandem with the atmosphere of me kind of like clenching up. But there was a certain point when a certain point in the middle, that I realized that now we're rushing. Now things are moving too fast, and I don't know where we're going, nor do I know where we've been. And they do some really key, interesting things with Kristen Stewart's character, Norrin, with her past, as well as with the captain, but we don't have enough time to kind of sit with them long enough to really, I don't say care, I think that you just needed more ground and root to be able to allow you to be able to function through the decisions that they make towards the third and the second act of the film. Because it's like there's a lot of admirable things that are happening and a lot of stupid decisions that are happening. Less on the stupid side more than usual with a horror / thriller movie like this. But it's kind of like when they do happen, it's kind of like, oh, well, okay, well, here we go. I'm still on this ride. And I don't like that feeling. I don't think anybody really likes that feeling. And I think what it does, it makes the story itself convoluted and feeling of rush. And a part of that, it has to do, I think, with the way that the timing of the movie. The movie itself is an hour and 36 minutes. And I think that it would have served us better to be about 2 hours, or maybe 2 hours and a half, to allow a little bit of backstory or a backtracking. I think it would have also benefited from like a flashback. There wasn't any flashbacks whatsoever. It was always progressing forward. And I think there was a statement that was made by the captain, it's like keep pushing forward, something to that nature in the second act. But I think that worked in the detriment of the film. That it could have been a pretty good film where instead, I don't want to say it's mediocre, but it should have been a lot more refined. I think the characters themselves, they had interesting positions where they were, but by the time it got to the second to third act, like I was following Kristen Stewart's character Norrin, but I just wanted to see her survive. I wanted to see her be able to make it through these certain circumstances that were happening. Everybody else, it really just kind of like they were just tag-ons, where I think that instead it could have been a lot more atmospheric, a lot more immersive. I could have gotten behind some of these other story arcs that were actually there, and they just really kind of didn't do anything with, because we didn't actually see fundamentally what happened from that. But again, I think that worked to the detriment of the film. If I had to give it a rating, I'd probably give it a 5.5 out of 10. Close to a 6, maybe. I think it's very interesting, and I think that the action works pretty epically as well as with the VFX, but I think the film itself could have been so much better. And again, Kristen Stewart is an amazing actress, and she definitely owns every role that she normally has done. She's owned it, and this is no different. Like, she really does commit herself, and the physicality of it. To me, honestly, this actually mimicked a lot of different tales from Alien. She could easily be looked at as a good Ripley kind of character on certain aspects of the film, but they rushed it and they closed it, and I don't think that they should have done it that way. I think that's probably the only issue that I really have ultimately with this film. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this review. I apologize there was not any kind of like edits or anything like that. I just really wanted you guys to get my raw, untampered feelings of this film. So again, I think that this was this. I don't think it was completely this. I don't think it was completely that. I think it was right there in the middle. Hope you guys did enjoy that. Keep it locked. JVS, we ain't gonna stop. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and yeah, stay tuned for more. Hit the notifications. Peace, guys.